Hello everyone, this is just a short no-frills video because I've recently made a couple of postings on checktheevidence.com and it's in relation to David Icke's new book, The Trigger. And initially I made a posting regarding the live stream presentation which he did to release the book, which was given on the 11th of September, and he made comments in that live stream which I felt were untruthful really in terms of what happened to the World Trade Center, and I transcribed some of those comments, and he didn't mention the research of Dr. Judy Wood in that presentation except in response to a question, but following my posting of that short article, a lady called Catherine Clark advised me that he had actually mentioned the Dr. Judy Wood material in his book. So I then bought a copy from Amazon, and as you can see it's a lengthy tome, £15 from Amazon, £20 from David Icke, 900 pages, and there were 2 or 3 chapters on the stories of the 9/11 planes and 1 chapter on the destruction of the World Trade Center. And so I read through those chapters, and as a result of that I've now made a newer posting covering those chapters, and you can go and read those on checktheevidence.com if you wish. And in summary really, what I wrote about David Icke in 2017 in my book, my free download, 9/11 Holding the Truth, which you can download for free from my website, essentially just about all of that still applies, even though this new book is now out. That is to say that David Icke hasn't really moved forward significantly from the stories of plane crashes at the World Trade Center and controlled demolition, which are the things that he talks about the most, spends the most time talking about in the relevant chapters of his book. There is no mention at all of the fact that the plane crashes could not have been real. What was seen at the World Trade Center was some type of image projection, and this has been shown through a combination of the research of people like Morgan Reynolds, Dr. Judy Wood herself, and also the research of Richard D. Hall and other people such as Mark Conlon. None of those people, well, Dr. Judy Wood is mentioned in the book, but there is certainly an implication that Dr. Wood suggests that planes crashed into the building, and she does no such thing. I mentioned that in the article if you want the details. It is true that David Icke does talk about the destruction of the World Trade Center in terms of directed energy weapons, but he says he's open to all possibilities, and indeed he spends some time referencing the liar Stephen E. Jones, who lied about the nature of aluminium, molten aluminium, and Icke does not point this out. He doesn't point out that the Architects and Engineers group, which he mentions at least twice, is run by a liar who has lied about the research of Dr. Judy Wood and what's in the book, Where Did the Towers Go? David Icke, for example, does mention problems with the seismic signature in the destruction of the World Trade Center, but he doesn't really give enough detail. He also mentions the toasted cars, for example, and he mentions a few of the other anomalies, but not much. I think he has about 4 or 5 pages on Dr. Judy Wood's research, something like that. But I've written all the details in the article that you can read on the website. David Icke does in fact mention Hurricane Erin, which was a surprise, but he doesn't really give it a context. He doesn't mention, for example, that it travelled in a straight line for 4 days. And the big omission is that he doesn't mention the Hutchison effect, which of course forms a parallel set of evidence in Dr. Wood's book, which illustrates how the World Trade Center, in the book it's illustrated how the World Trade Center is destroyed, and then parallels are drawn with the effects seen between the evidence at the World Trade Center and what's in John Hutchison's experiments, and David Icke completely fails to mention those things in his book. Also missing is any mention of Science Applications International Corporation and Applied Research Associates, who were discussed in Dr. Wood's key time case, the key time case, and Dr. Ron Reynolds' key time case. That is not mentioned in David Icke's book either. So there are some serious omissions, and really I just wanted to make this video to highlight those omissions and mention that had David Icke contacted me or Dr. Judy Wood, which he didn't, over the time that this book has been written, and looking at the thickness of this book, one can imagine that it's taken quite a bit of time to prepare this. So he's had plenty of time to contact either myself or Dr. Judy Wood or all of us, but he has not done so, and therefore is in the situation where he can perhaps have a bit of plausible deniability for including false information in the relevant chapters, which could have been avoided. The end result of this is that David Icke has not illustrated the connection between the cover-up of technologies which can produce limitless free energy that could in fact be used, as I see things, to completely circumvent any sort of new world order and oppressive global fascism. If the free energy technology was revealed and the true nature of the crimes were uncovered, then we could circumvent that new world order. That is really my main point here, and one which I feel needs to be made as strongly as possible, particularly in view of the lack of such a point being made by David Icke, who has written such a lot about things like the New World Order. So one can, theorise about the reasons why David Icke has missed out this information. I don't know why he's chosen to miss this out. All I know is that he has missed it out, and therefore his readers have been deprived of an opportunity to learn more about what 9/11 means in a wider context. So I urge you to study what I've written, if you have the time and the interest to do so. Share the books that I've written, which are free to download, and if anybody has any questions or corrections, then please do contact me through the website and advise me of any errors or omissions that you think are significant, and I will endeavour to make amends and fix those. So that's it really. Please read the postings and the articles and the 9/11 books and the other free books, and thanks for your time, and I wish you all the best.